Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Ina alhamdulillah wa salam Allah wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of our Ramadan prep series. And again, we're discussing some of the etiquettes and the sunnahs of fasting. Ramadan will inshallah begin in the next few days whenever the moon has been sighted. And again, I want to remind everyone that we will go back over the things that I'm teaching you now during the whole course of Ramadan. I want everyone to stick with us here at Sunnahfollowers during the month of Ramadan, because we will help you to get through each day of fasting. We will, inshallah, help you get through each day of fasting and try to make this the most spiritual Ramadan that you've had. So yesterday we spoke about sickness. And this is something that a lot of Muslims have been sending emails in asking us questions about. What if I get sick from fasting? How do we behave in that case? Well, let's put the questions up on the screen, because I did make a quiz, and I tried to make this quiz one that will cause you to think. And I tried to come up with scenarios of which you may fall into during the course of fasting. Okay, let's look at the first question. If a person does get sick during the month of Ramadan, how sick must a person be before he or she can break his or her fast? How sick must a person be in order to break their fast? Can anyone explain that answer to us? How sick must a person be in order to break the fast? Does anyone know?
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
The sickness doesn't have to be like a major sickness, but it can be a type of sickness that if you don't take medicine or something, that you would become more sicker or more ill if you didn't take it. Like something like a migraine or something, where we know that will get worse if you don't take medicine.
Great job, Latifa. Exactly. The person, it doesn't have to be a major sickness, but it must be some type of sickness of which will worsen if you don't break it. A sickness that will become worse if you don't break it and take medicine for it. Can anyone think of a type of sickness that would fall in this category? So it must be a sickness that will worsen if you do not break it and take medicine. Give me some examples.
COVID.
Okay, COVID. Say you got sick with COVID. Exactly. Other examples.
Migraine. What about pneumonia?
Oh yeah, pneumonia. Forget how I spell it. More examples.
The flu.
Good job. The flu. More examples.
Migraine.
Wait a minute. Yeah, let me move this up some too. Migraines. Or very bad headache, because there's so many different types of headaches now. Clusters. Very bad headaches. If you don't take some Tylenol, that if Tylenol is not taken, it will worsen to the point of your not being able to function. I'm gonna put that in there so everybody understand, because there's so many headaches that can take you out of here. I'm telling you, there's a lot of bad headaches. I know I went through them before. Okay, any other examples?
Asthma.
What about stomach aches?
Did you hear me?
What about asthma? What do y'all think about asthma? Is asthma something that I would break my fast as a result of?
No.
Why not?
No, I thought you meant could you take medicine?
There you go. You can take a medicine for asthma, your inhaler. And we're going to talk about that. The inhaler doesn't break your fast. A person like me, I might have an asthma attack. I can take my inhaler. I can also take a breathing treatment. The breathing treatment and the inhalers do not break your fast because you're not ingesting food into your stomach. So, asthma wouldn't really fall in that category. How about another example? Give me another.
What about stomach aches?
What kind of stomach ache?
Like pain, like stomach ache, like you get a painful, like some people get stomach ache that's painful.
Very,
that
very
hurts.
bad. A very, very bad stomach ache. Not the kind of stomach ache because you're hungry, but a very, very, very bad one that's the sign of something wrong with you down there. Maybe you're constipated and got to go and need to take some pills to make you go. Or maybe you got GERD or something and you need, the stomach is just tore up and it's got to be a very, very
That's what
bad.
I was going to say, diarrhea.
Diarrhea is, it depends. Okay, it depends. Like I say, it's got to be something that's going to get worse if you don't take medicine for it.
How about me, mental illness?
Okay, what do you think? What type of mental illness?
I think it's I don't know how to word it, but
you
the
have
mental
mental illness all the time. It's never going away. But does that mean that you can't fast? No, you can fast.
See,
So that's not
how to
one.
word it. That's what I was trying to say. I didn't know how to word it. Thank you.
Only people that are mentally ill that don't have to fast are people who are not here. That when you're not aware of what you're doing, the pen is lifted. When you get to the point like you were, when they had to take you out of here to the hospital, that's when you're not accountable. When you get to the point like you were, Gracie, when you were trying to get Bim to divorce you, that don't count. When you had that man, yeah.
Listen, that's why I said we're nothing wrong, because that's how I am every day.
Yeah,
but
it's a little different. With mental illness, it's a little different. Yeah, if you're on your medicine and you're cognizant and you're not seeing things, hearing things, that's different. You can fast. You're strong. You fast. You fast better than most of us. Yeah. Any other sickness, guys?
I got a question.
I
didn't hear what you said about diarrhea. My thought on diarrhea, and it's my thought, so it could be taken or not taken.
Right. Let's hear
it. With diarrhea, you can get diarrhea so bad till you're dehydrated and you fall out.
Exactly. If it's that bad, because then some people keep diarrhea like me. Bariatric people, we never have solids. We're always diarrhea, But if it's diarrhea to the point where you have to take medicine to stop it, because you're just running out. Do you guys get it? Let's put that down just so everybody can understand. That's what somebody else was saying too. A bad case of diarrhea to the point.
Well, you gotta take medicine. That's what I was trying to say.
Whereas medicine is needed.
Thanks, Latifah.
Stop it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the way. To the point where medicine is needed to stop it. Otherwise, you become sicker. Yeah, so any type of sickness, that you can break your fast any time you're experiencing a sickness that will only become worse if you don't take some medicine for it. You guys understand? The flu, a cold, just a regular cold. I mean, if I don't take something, I'm going to keep coughing. It's going to hurt my chest. I'm going to keep on getting my nasal. I can't breathe. You can break your fast and take that medicine. But if breaking your fast just to sit there and look stupid, you could have looked stupid without breaking your fast. You guys understand? A lot of people say, I got a cough due to a cold. Drink some water and eat some food. Hi, I'm back. Did you take medicine? No. Did you need medicine? No. Well, I'm sorry. What did you break your fast for?
Layla, what about excessive vomiting?
Vomiting does not break your fast. We're going to talk about that. That's another misconception that a lot of Muslims have. They think vomiting breaks the fast. There's a lot of women who are pregnant. Pregnant women are supposed to fast. Vomiting, the throwing up does not break your fast, guys, because you're not putting anything in your body. You're taking stuff out. So just because you're pregnant and you're throwing up does not mean that you can't fast. You're supposed to fast even when you're pregnant. Everybody understand that? And we're going to talk more in detail about that. Okay, so the type of sickness in which a person can break their fast from is a sickness that will worsen if medication is not taken for it.
I was going to say sinus infection.
What kind of sinus infection? See, it's different kinds. If it's the kind that you got to take medicine for, if you got an infection where you
are to like get the antibiotics because it was really
that's
bad.
different. Yeah, but some people just keep sinus problems.
What
Some
about
of my clients
allergies?
walked around with sinus problems all the time. Dude, sometimes it's a side effect of medication people take. But no, if you're like me, you're an asthmatic, hay fever, you got to get that antibiotic in you. That's different.
What about allergies?
That's what we're talking about. Sinuses and asthma, these are allergies. If you have to take medicine for it, and remember with asthma is different because with asthma, the inhaler does not break your fast. Even with the sinus infection, if the medicine that you have to take is an antibiotic that goes in your mouth down your throat, because the spray does not break the fast. I use the hay fever spray, the sinus spray. It don't work. I shoot it in my nose every day. I still snot all the time. Okay, but that doesn't break the fast. But any type of sickness that requires you having to take medicine, and if you don't take the medicine, the sickness will get worse, then you can break the fast. When you got a cold, you need to take Tylenol for the fever. Okay, diarrhea to the point of constant diarrhea, you have to take Pepto-Bismol, otherwise it's going to continue on. Pepto-Bismol is a medicine. Okay, diabetes, you can take your insulin when you're fasting. Okay, so everybody understand the type of sicknesses. Migraine. Okay, let's look at the next question. I think I got a migraine question on here too. Let me look at question number 2. Abdullah has diabetes and he is fasting. One day he wakes up and feels this familiar weakness that he feels right before he's about to go into a diabetic fit and fall out unconscious. What should he do? Abdul has diabetes. He's been living with diabetes all his life. Okay, stop Instacarting. He's been living with diabetes all his life. He's been fasting the month of Ramadan, but one day he wakes up and he's like, oh my God, here it is. That familiar feeling I get that I'm weak. This is how I usually get right before I go into a sugar attack and end up unconscious. What should he do? Can anybody answer this intelligently?
Well, if he's a diabetic, if he does insulin, he can do a shot for insulin. If he's not on insulin and he's just taking pills and his sugar goes low, he can drink something, or he can do a piece of candy or some kind of sugar.
Okay, what about the fasting? Put fasting in there.
The fasting. Well, if it's causing any kind of danger to him, he would have to do that.
So what would that mean he have to do? He has to do what?
Break his fast,
right?
Or he can take insulin.
Exactly. In a case like this, he has to break his fast because he recognizes that weakness. He knows that this means that my sugar is so low. The insulin ain't working. I done took my insulin. The sugar is so low, and he done experienced this before. that if he don't take some candy or some real sweet stuff, he getting ready to go into an attack and be unconscious. Then in this case, he break his fast and go do what he got to do to keep himself from going into that attack. Does everybody understand that answer? Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, because we got some diabetic people here. Zarina, you didn't tell me how. Oh, yeah, she did. She said Abdul needs to break his fast. Exactly. Exactly, Zarina. Good job. Okay, so let me write that down. Break the fast and do what it takes to prevent him from going into the diabetic unconsciousness. Since the insulin alone is not working. Y'all get that? Good job. Let's look at question number 3, scenario number 3. Jana is fasting and she has a migraine headache of which she suffers often from. The doctor has given her medication and he told her when she feels that migraine headache coming on, she has to take that medicine immediately. If she doesn't take it immediately, that headache is going to become worse to the point where she can black out and she'll end up in emergency having to get those shots that they give you in the back of your neck. So what should she do in this case? She's fasting, but that headache starts. What should she do?
Break her fast.
You got to give me a complete answer.
She should break up. Oh, sorry.
You got to tell me who, what, where, when, why, and how. Anybody? What should she do?
She should break her fast because it's gotten to the point where she's gonna faint and pass out, and that won't be good if that happens. So she's gonna have to break it. Exactly.
Does everybody understand that? Now, we do have some people here who suffer with migraine and cluster headaches. Cluster headaches are even worse than migraine. You know, we also have another headache. What's the headache that I had? Oh, God, I don't want to ever have that headache again. What did my doctor call that headache, y'all? It wasn't a cluster. It wasn't, God. It had to do with my allergies, whatever it is. Anyway, that some of these headaches, guys, can scare the heck out of you. You know, if you've been diagnosed with clusters, or you've been diagnosed with migraines, or you've been diagnosed with those other type of headaches that my doctor told me I had, I mean, and they give you medicine for it. There's medicine to take. And they'll tell you if you don't take it, as soon as it comes on, it's going to get worse. And then you're going to end up in some serious situations that could lead to stroke, blood clots, and everything else. Headaches is a sign that something's wrong in your body. You can't play with them. If you got those type of diagnosed headaches, then break your fast. Take the medicine and make that day up. Now, I'm not talking about the common fast headache. Now, for those of you who are new to fasting, everyone experiences the fasting headache. What is the fasting headache? Well, alhamdulillah. The fasting headache is what every person experiences when they start fasting, usually the first 2 weeks of Ramadan. My doctor explained it to me. My doctor, Hussein, she's a Muslim doctor. She said, when you go into fasting, it shocks your metabolism. Your metabolism goes into a shock, and your sugar, everybody's sugar is going to drop. And when the sugar drops, that's when that fasting headache occurs. But the fasting headache is not like a migraine. The fasting headache is not like a cluster. It's just a throbbing pain that's there in your head. But it goes away as soon as you break the fast and eat something sweet. That's why the prophet used to break his fast with dates As Sister Ayin taught you guys last week, dates are nature's candy. Dates contain a lot of sugar. If you eat a date after fasting, your headache, you notice your headache goes away. That's because the date makes the sugar run back up to your head and it takes that headache away. So I'm not talking about that headache. The Ramadan headache, we all experience it. It ain't just because of caffeine like people think either. It's because, as my doctor said, your sugar level has dropped. Because I remember, y'all know I drink a lot of tea and I drink a lot of coffee. And I had went to my doctor. I said, this headache I get for Ramadan, I mean, it ain't that bad, but am I drinking too much tea during the night or coffee? She said, that's the Ramadan headache. A lot of people associate it with caffeine, but it's really not. It's associated with sugar. Your sugar level just gonna drop because your metabolism is gonna go into a shock. And that's also why a lot of people lose weight during Ramadan. Why do a lot of people lose weight? Because their metabolism has been shocked. When you shock your metabolism, bam, that's when the weight start falling off. So that's why a lot of people who are healthy, I ain't talking about those of you who don't lose weight, the ones who are healthy, like for example, myself, I'm a bariatric person. My body goes into a great shock during Ramadan because I'm not able to fast. I mean, I'm fast. I'm not able to eat every 3 hours, a yogurt or something. My weight, and I still have to exercise. People with bariatric surgery, we have to exercise every day of our, not every day, but on a regular basis until we die. I have to do anywhere from 3 to 5 workouts a week, even in the hot sun. And I do it every Ramadan. So with my exercising on that bike, paddling that cardio for 20 minutes, my weight, I will lose up to 20, 30 pounds because my metabolism has been shocked due to fasting. Okay. And so we get that headache because I thought it was my coffee tea headache. My doctor said, no, that's the sugar. Eat a date. Eat a date. When you break your fast, eat a date, that headache goes away. Okay, so I'm not talking about that headache. We can handle that. But a migraine headache, a cluster headache, these are headaches that we can't handle. They're so unbearably, your vision becomes distorted. You can't take lights, you can't take noise. It'll have you in the bed. You cannot spend your fasting time remembering Allah with those type of headaches. In that case, break your fast and take whatever medicine your doctor has prescribed for you. Everybody understand that about the headaches? And we're going to talk about these headaches more. Everybody gets it. It's not caffeine. It's just sugar in your body being shocked. Okay. Here's another scenario. Alexi suffers with GERD. So he decides to not fast at all during Ramadan because he can have a GERD attack. Is this the correct position for Alexi to take? What do you guys think?
No, he should make attention. He should fast. And only if it be that he does have a GERD attack, he would have to break his fast because he would have to drink water to control it. But he should not fast because you don't know when he might not have a GERD attack.
Exactly. You know? And that's a person like me. I have GERD too. GERD is a real bad acid reflux. We have a hole. People that suffer with GERD have a hole in the bottom of their esophagus. And it can turn into cancer if it's not treated. Okay, that's why we have to take medicine for that. And my GERD came from that berry. It's another side effect. I do have a hole in mine. And my GERD is also from a side effect from the bariatric. When you have gastric bypass, that's one of the side effects. That's why they don't like doing gastric bypass. It has a lot of terrible side effects that a lot of people end up dying from. Okay, hopefully it won't be me because I take care of mine. But GERD, just because I have GERD, I still have to fast. I still have to try to fast each day. So if you have GERD, this is a sickness that is incurable. It's a sickness that you could die from. All that is true. It does put you in, it's a sickness that can put you in the category of having to pay a ransom. But you still have to try to fast. Y'all remember last Ramadan was the worst Ramadan of my life because I had GERD and I was having GERD attacks as a result of the anesthesia because I had had my total knee replacement. Y'all remember I was GERD attacking like crazy right here on TV. I'm sitting here doing my classes and and I found out because it was the anesthesia from me having my total knee replacement. But anyway, I still had to fast. Remember, y'all kept asking me, Layla, why don't you stop fasting? I would tell y'all, no, I have to still try. I still have to make my intentions to have the fast every day, and I still have to try because some days I didn't have an attack. I was able to do 2 weeks. I was able, not 2 weeks, 10 days. I was able to fast 10 days last Ramadan because you don't know, the GERD attack may happen and it may not. So if you got a disease that's incurable like GERD, GERD is one of those diseases that people can die from and it's never going to get better. It's going to only get worse the older you get. You know, you still have to try to fast. But if you feel that GERD attack coming on, you start that belching, you feel everything coming up your esophagus like it's getting ready to go. That's what GERD does. GERD, your bowels. People want to know what GERD is. GERD is when your bowels come up through your esophagus and go out your mouth. That's a nasty disease. You feel like you're about to throw up your dung. If you feel that attack coming, drink that water and break that fast and take your pills, because we have pills that we take. We take Nexium for GERD. Every day of our lives, we take Nexium, sick of Nexium, but if you go without it, it's going to come up your throat. So take your medicine, but you still have to fast. Does everybody understand? So everybody understand, you still have to try and just break it and make that day up. Or if you can't make it up, pay the ransom. Okay, and we'll talk about the ransom in another class. Okay, let's look at the next scenario. What about this? Ahmed is fasting. He falls off a ladder and hits his head and becomes unconscious. He wakes up later during the night when fasting is over. Does he have to make that day up? Abdul is fasting, but he falls and hits his head and becomes unconscious.
No,
No.
because
Oh, go
no,
ahead.
he doesn't have to make it up because he's unconscious and he's not accountable for his actions as far as that.
And also something else. Why else is it that he doesn't have to make it up?
Because he started his day fasting.
Exactly. That's the answer. If the person starts the day fasting, if you begin your day fasting and something happens and you fall out unconscious and you wake up after Maghrib, that day counted. It counted as a fast. You don't have to redo it or make it up. Everybody understand? But the key is you had to have began the day fasting. Everybody understand that? What about this?
Yeah.
What if he was fixing, changing a light bulb at nighttime and fell out, hit his head, went to the hospital, you know, didn't begin the next day fasting, but woke up the next day? What about in that case?
You have to make up that day.
He has to make up.
That day he has to make up because he didn't start it off fasting. Everybody understand the rule on that? Real simple. Real simple. That's the rule. If you begin the day fasting, then you don't have to make it up. But if you did not begin the day fasting, then you do. Let me see what Sakina got. Good job, Sakina. Good job, Sakina. Yeah. All right. Okay, what about this scenario? Lisa is a chemical engineer. She has to go inside the oil plants in the desert, and it's extremely hot. It's over 100 and some degrees. She has to go in the plants and do something. Can she put off fasting on the days that she works?
No, she can't. She still have to fast.
Exactly, guys. For those of you who work, you cannot use the weather and extreme conditions as an excuse to get out of working. Out of fasting. Just like you don't use the weather as an excuse to get out of going to work every day, you cannot use the weather as an excuse to get out of serving your Lord every day. This is your job. You do it every day of the year. So you should know how to handle yourself under those type of circumstances. You chose this type of profession. This is what you do every day. So why is Ramadan any different? You do what you do every day. You don't walk in the plant eating and drinking all the time you in the plant. Who sits there and eat and drink 24 hours or 8 hours while they at work? You ain't eating and drinking for 8 hours in your job. Why all of a sudden you want to pretend like you got to eat and drink for 8 hours because it's Ramadan? No, you still have to fast. Does everybody understand that? Don't use your job as an excuse. You work that job every day of the year. Ramadan ain't no different, so you carry on as if it was a regular day. Everybody understand that? And if it bothers you too much, then you can go on vacation leave. Go on vacation leave or something. Okay, last question. True or false? A person who breaks his or her fast due to sickness has the option to pay the ransom rather than to make the days up. Is that statement true or false?
That's false.
Exactly. This is false, guys. This is false. You don't have the choice. You have to try to fast. You cannot choose to pay the ransom. Even a person like me with GERD, I still have to try to fast. And if I can't fast, then I pay the ransom. As I spoke about earlier, everybody understand that. But the ransom is only for certain people anyway. A regular sickness is not an excuse for the ransom. And we're going to talk about that today. The ransom are for people who are suffering with an incurable disease of which there is no cure and that person can die from. These are the people that pay the ransom. For example, somebody with cancer. In fact, if you have cancer, I recommend you don't even try to fast, especially if you're getting that treatment. But every year, there's people that have cancer that still try to fast. Okay? So, it has to be a sickness that is incurable, which gets worse, that doesn't get better, that there's no possible cure, way of coming back from. These are the people that pay ransom, not people that had a cough due to a cold, or a person that had the flu, or a person that had a migraine headache. You make those days up. Everybody understand? Any questions about any of these answers? And we're going to talk about this now. Any questions while I put the PowerPoint up on the screen? Let me load this up. Hold on. Let me go to the right part because we did the first part of this PowerPoint. We're going to go to right here. Okay, today we're going to speak about the people who suffer from sicknesses which don't have to fast. These are called chronic illnesses. Y'all see the word chronic illness. A chronic illness is a sickness of which there is no hope of recovery. Again, a chronic illness is a sickness of which there is no hope of recovery. The person can die. Okay? If a person has a chronic illness, such a person is unable to fast. So therefore, instead of fasting, they would feed a poor person for each day he is unable to fast. And the amount of money that he would have to spend on that person is based on how much it costs to buy a full course meal. I usually tell people, if there's a Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant in your neighborhood, in your state, how much does it cost? You can get a 2-piece chicken dinner with a side order of mashed potatoes. Now y'all got me hungry. You can get now I can't even eat chicken. God. A 2-piece dinner, breast and a wing with mashed potatoes and gravy and a side of green beans. Plus they throw in a biscuit and honey and butter. Girl, I want me some Kentucky Fried Chicken now. How much is that?
You sure do eat like our broken American women.
Yeah, that's $10.
That's a joke.
If it costs $10 to feed a person a full course meal, then that's how much it would be. You know, if it's, I'm just saying $10. I ain't ate at Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't know how much. Or Popeyes. We got a Popeyes down the street. How much it costs, Tiba? 2-piece.
About that much?
Oh, about 10, 2-piece with mashed potatoes, gravy,
yes.
green beans, and a biscuit. Hello, $10.
Now, Layla, so the Layla, it have to be like a Muslim you feed, right? It doesn't, that's just not anybody, right?
Okay, let me explain this too. Every time we teach this class, we get that question, and it behooves me every time. We could care less about Kafirs. Kafirs don't need you. Kafirs got Meals on Wheels. What else they got? The Red Cross. Hello. Sisters of Agnes Church. We don't care about no Kafirs. We talking about Muslims. It ain't our responsibility to take care of no Kafirs. Kafirs don't need nothing from us. The Kafirs own the world. They own all the businesses. They got the money. You Muslims is broke and poor. A lot of you on welfare. Why y'all think it's got to be a Kafir? Ain't nothing here related to Kafirs. We take care of Muslims. The Muslims are the ones in need of our charity. The Muslims are the ones in need of our help, not no Kafirs. The Kafirs got the Church of Agnes Christ they can go to. Or they can get on the phone and call Meals on Wheels. They take care of themselves. So anyway, but the key here is it has to be a chronic illness. That's an illness of which there's no hope of recovery, like cancer. No hope of recovery. Certain forms of diabetes. The type of people that's got diabetes like you, Imam Rashid, real bad. Okay, where you need insulin and you got to watch your sugar, or you can go into a coma and all that. That's another chronic illness. My GERD. And here it comes. Mention his name and there he is, Mr. GERD. You know, my GERD, that's another sickness of which there's no recovery. You know, it has to be, these are chronic illnesses. Chronic illnesses. Everybody understand that? Now, for a sickness that is not chronic, then you have to make your days up. You don't pay no ransom. The flu, a cold, a migraine headache, even a cluster headache, you guys this is not chronic. You guys make those days up in the wintertime, you know, where the days are not long. But for people with cancer, diabetes, any type of hepatitis, you know, liver transplants, you know, people with these type of sicknesses, you know, then if they can't, they try to fast. If they can't fast, they pay the ransom. Okay. And when it comes to paying a ransom, of course, it has to go to Muslims, not no Kafirs. Who cares about a Kafir? And if you're gonna pay the ransom, you can do it all at once, or you can do it each day, or you can do it at the end of the month. Everybody understand? For example, say I'm trying to fast, it's Ramadan, and I'm sitting here doing my class. All of a sudden, I have a GERD attack. I try to suck it up, well, suck it down, and I can't. So I got to break that fast. I can go and buy somebody dinner for that day. I can say, okay, let me go ahead and buy a needy Muslim family. Let me, this sister over here, she got 4 kids. She ain't got no husband. I'm gonna order some Red Lobster for her. Or I'm gonna order some Kentucky Fried Chicken for her. I can do it that day. You can feed the needy person for every day that you have to break it, or you can do it all at one time, or at the end of the month. But it has to be food. It's not money, it's food. You cannot give your money to a poor Kafir. You cannot go downtown to downtown Cleveland and look at the poor man laying in the street and say, here's some money, go buy you some Kenny Kings. No, it has to be a Muslim family, and you can give the money to an organization that feeds the poor, a Muslim organization. Like Jamali was saying, some Gaza organization he has in Gaza. Remember, he was saying that they give the money to needy Muslims. That's acceptable. Does everybody understand that? So I can take that, feed the person the day it happens, or every day it happens, or at the end of the month. But it has to be food. Y'all understand that? That for those of us who pay the ransom, it has to be food. You cannot give it to my website. Let me emphasize this. Every Ramadan, I'll get this big donation that I have to end up returning to the person that sent it. And I'll be like, wait a minute, first of all, we don't get no $1,000 donations here. So and that's when I know, oh, this ain't, I have to send this back to you, sister, because we don't buy food. I don't buy food and to give it to poor people. I tell her, you have to take that money and give it to the needy people in your community. Most masjids, you can go to the imam and give it to him, and he knows who his needy people are. He can go out and go shopping and buy food for them. Okay. But you can't give it to my website because I don't distribute to the poor here. Our donations go just to run Zoom and all the stuff that we do here. Okay, so I want to remind you guys, because every Ramadan I get 1 or 2 people that'll send a nice little $1,000 check. I'm like, oh, but wait a minute. This for food? Yes. Oh, I have to send it back to you, sister. We don't do that here. It has to be an organization that distributes food. Okay. What about this? Say a person gets sick, you're fasting during Ramadan, all of a sudden you start getting sick. You've never been sick like this before. So you go to the doctor and the doctor tell you that you got cancer, or the doctor tell you that you got some bad disease that's chronic. Okay. You now feed a poor person for every day you were unable to fast, because this illness prevents you from being able to make it up. That happened to a sister here. She was sick, trying to fast. She went to the doctor. She had breast cancer. Okay, so all those days that she had to break her fast for the first 2 weeks of Ramadan, she said, Layla, I remember I had to break my fast the first 2 weeks of Ramadan. I was coughing and I was sick. Remember I told you about it? I said, yeah. She said, well, I was diagnosed with cancer. I said, then go ahead and don't worry about trying to make those days up that you were unable to fast this month. Instead, pay the ransom. Alhamdulillah, she came out of her cancer good. She's okay now, alhamdulillah. Okay. Also, if a person dies from a chronic illness, there is no debt on his or her family. That means that the family does not have to make up the days of Ramadan if that person was not here to witness. Say, for example, that sister had breast cancer and she died. The doctor told her, you ain't got but 2 days. You dead. Bam. Does she have to make up them days, the other days of Ramadan that she wasn't alive to witness? No. We talked about that yesterday. The pen is lifted. Okay. And like I said, we're going to go over this stuff again. If a person, say just this person doesn't have no regular, this is just this person, say a person dies from COVID. That happened last year and the year before. We had a brother from this website. He told me that someone in his family last Ramadan died, but he died from COVID, not a chronic sickness, but from COVID. The days that he was sick and unable to make up before he died, how do we pay that? I had to tell him it comes from his estate. Whatever his money is, and that's with any situation. When a Muslim dies, before the inheritors take their money, you have to pay off that person's debts. And the debts owed to Allah are more deserving to be paid off than anyone else. So if he was sick on that breathing machine, for 2 weeks during Ramadan, then he finally died. Those 2 weeks, that he was unable to fast and he was on that machine to breathe and sick and all that. He wasn't unconscious. He was just sick on that breathing thing and unable to fast. You can take the debt out of his estate. Everybody understand that? All right. So now we're going to talk about elderly people. Elderly people. We got a lot of elderly people here in this website. How do we define an elderly person? An elderly person, these are people who have lost their strength and they get weaker and weaker each day because they're facing death. You're so old and so weak that even getting up out the bed is a hardship. You're so old, so weak that you can't even go to the bathroom, that you urinate on yourself. Elderly people do not have to fast, and they are allowed not to fast as long as fasting is too difficult for them. That's based on the following verse where Allah says, as for those who can fast with difficulty, and they have either a choice to fast or feed a poor person. This verse of the Quran, as Ibn Abbas said, has not been abrogated. This verse is talking about an old man or an old woman who cannot fast because they're so weak. Fasting would take too much out of them. So in their case, they can feed a poor person for every day. Let me give an example of someone that falls in that category. And from my website, my mother. And my mother hates to hear this, and I don't know how she does it. My mother is 82 years old, and she's a cancer survivor, but she still is taking treatment for her cancer. Do you guys know my mother still fasts every day on Ramadan? I don't know why. And me and my brother Isa and my other brothers, we are always telling her, Mom, you don't have to fast. You don't have to fast. Number one, you got cancer. Number two, you are elderly. You can just feed a poor person for each day that you're unable to fast. She said, no, I ain't paying no money. I will fast. And my mother fasts. I don't know how she does it. Okay, but that's an example. You know, they don't have to fast because fasting would be difficult for her. You're getting cancer treatment. The treatment has you sick. The treatment has you tired. You can't even get up out the bed half the time. So you don't have to fast, Mom. You can just feed a poor person for each day. Nope, I'm going to fast anyway. And my mother still fasts. But if you're a person like my mother, you don't have to do it. Let's use another example. Let's say Anissa. Let's say Anissa. I'm not going to say she's that way because Anissa's working. Let's say Anissa's in that situation. She's also a cancer survivor, though. Okay. And she has diabetes. You know, and her mind is becoming fickle a little bit. Let's say, and Anissa has a hard time. Let's say Anissa has a hard time. You know, it's hard for her to get up out that bed. It's hard for her to even go to the bathroom. SubhanAllah, when she fasts, she becomes even weaker. Oh my God, from her medication for her cancer. My God, the diabetes, everything combined. She's so old and so tired. She can feed a poor person. Okay. So that's an elderly person. An elderly person is a person that becomes weaker and weaker with each day due to their age and their strength. They don't have to fast. They can pay the ransom. But the thing that gets me, guys, is this. The people who do fall into the category of ransom, they're the ones that's fasting. Just like my mother fasts every Ramadan, so does Anissa. And these are people that don't have to, but they still do it. It's the ones that are healthy that try to not do it. Ain't that amazing how people are? Oh, what about people who are senile? For a person who is senile, this is a person that has no mental cognition. This is a person that doesn't know what day of the week it is, what month it is. They don't even know their name. These are people who suffer with Alzheimer's and dementia. These people don't have to fast at all, okay? Because the pen is lifted. And not only do they not have to fast, but they don't have to pay a ransom either because the pen is lifted for them. So if you know someone who's senile, this is an old person who don't even know who he is or who she is, don't know her name, they don't have to fast nor pay a ransom. If a person falls in the category of being elderly, where fasting, it just takes too much energy out of them. It's just too hard to do because they have no strength. These are the people that pay the ransom. And the other people that pay the ransom are those people suffering with a chronic illness of which there's no recovery from, like cancer, hepatitis, or something like that. They try to fast, but they can't. They can pay the ransom for those days that they can't. Everybody understand? Any questions? Any questions on the people who pay the ransom and the people who don't? Go ahead, Marad.
Okay, for the person who's like paying the ransom, is it preferred that they give it to a Muslim person, or do they have to give it to a Muslim person?
What did I already say about that? Do Kafirs and fall in this category? Are we talking about Muslims or Kafirs? We're Muslims. Why are y'all concerned with Kafirs? What makes y'all think that we do anything for a Kafir? We're Muslims. We take care of our people. Why come y'all keep thinking that our laws go for Kafirs? Y'all need to take Kafirs out of your thinking. They don't fall nowhere in our practice of Islam. Everybody understand that? You don't do nothing for a Kafir except say hi, have a good day, and keep moving. Okay, everybody understand that? The only thing you do for a Kafir is say hi, have a good day, and keep it moving. You look out for your people, not somebody else's people. Yeah, any other questions? Okay. Okay, what do you mean, Sister Diarrhea? Sister Diarrhea, are you asking me if a person breaks their fast, do we go back and start eating again after we take the medicine? Are you asking me if I have a headache and take Tylenol, can I go back and fast again, Diarrhea? Is that your question? Diarrhea? Once a person breaks their fast, guys, we don't go back to eat. Y'all understand? Once the fast is broken for that day, it is broken. We don't go back and fast again that day after we've broken the fast. Everybody understand? If you break your fast, that's it. It's broken. Okay, any other questions? What is autoimmune disease? Sister, I don't know what autoimmune disease is. What is that? I don't know what that is. What is autoimmune disease?